Counter Attack podcast with myself, Daps.
No Spence, but Lamin.
Aye, Lamin is back. Then
Let's
next
go.
one, Spence will be back, and then we're all back, full house. But yeah, man. So today we've got a special guest. Oh wait, first, guys, keep liking, subscribing, and sharing. Thank you for the feedback. Thank you for just everything, because it's been crazy recently, man. All the different lives and all the different feedback, and yeah, we're just gonna keep it going. So today we've got a special guest, Birmingham City player Josh McEachran, and we're just gonna talk about his career and things that have happened in his career, his time at Chelsea and the loan systems and everything. And yeah, we're just gonna get him in here now. You ready, Lam?
Let's go.
Admit. Just waiting for him to come in now. And here he is. Yes, Josh, what's going on?
Hello, mate. You alright?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Yeah, man, so thank you for doing this, Josh. I don't really see you doing many interviews and stuff like that. So for you to come here and do this, I really appreciate it, man. So yeah, how you been keeping, man?
Yeah, good. I done my cruise ship a couple of months ago now. Well, 12 weeks ago I had the operation, had surgery. So at the moment, it's not a bad time to be injured, to be fair. Like, I've just been focusing on my recovery, getting as strong as I can. I'm not missing any football. So yeah, it's been a blessing, to be fair, with my injury.
Yeah, how much longer you got till you can, reasonably think about at least coming back and kicking a ball?
Yeah, no, it's still early days. I'm still doing like one-legged balance stuff and that. So I've still got a long way to go, but I'll probably say hopefully be fit around like match fit around October, November time. So I've still got a few months to go, but yeah, I'm getting there.
That's all right.
Not bad.
That's decent.
Yeah. Is that your toughest injury to date?
Oh yeah, definitely, 100%. Like, and as soon as I did it, I've never done ligaments in my knee before, but just as soon as I done it, I just knew it was serious. I don't know about you two, if you've ever done it before or whatever, but I just knew straight away. So I've had like little niggles here. To be fair, I broke my foot in that, but that was nowhere near like the pain I had with this.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Everyone's different as well. Like some players say like they did, but the way I felt, I had like every ligament in my knee reconstructed, so it was a big one.
Wow. Yeah, I think Lamin's had a bit of them ligament issues and all of that.
Yeah. I know how your knees feel, bro. I know how your knees feel, man. It's yeah, it's not a nice pain at all. It's not. I'm like you. I've broken bones, and I always say to people, I would always prefer to break a bone than to do my ligaments. And when I did it, I really understood why. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I exactly. But hopefully, touch wood, I come back stronger, fitter. So I'm just using time. I've never had this time to work like specifically on my body. I'm obviously training day in, day out. Now I've never really been like a gym guy or whatever. So I've been just to build myself up really, and just to get as strong as I can.
Yeah. What would you say your playing style is?
I just love to get on the ball really and dictate play. So I started off as a number 10 when I was like in my youth team days, even younger. And then as I've got older, well, it was my first manager in professional football at Chelsea that dropped me into like the holding midfield role. And then since then, I've just loved that position, just getting on the ball as much as I can, and to dictate play really. So yeah, my passing, vision.
Which manager was that gave you that role?
Carlo Ancelotti.
Oh, that's not a bad name to drop. What was he like for you to play under, like while you were there?
Yeah, still to this day, I'd say he's the best. He just so relaxed, chilled. Like he just had such a calm way about him, and just let you express yourself really. Yeah. But like you knew like if you did something wrong because he would let you know.
Yeah.
But like at the same time, like you could just, I just felt like free. I was young, and when you're young, going into Chelsea, you need to make a big impression, and I didn't feel any pressure really. I just, because he was the manager, I think other managers would have like done the opposite, maybe. But with him, I could just not do what I want, but you know what I mean? Just express myself.
And you had like a lot of, well, from the outside it looked like you had a lot of pressure on your shoulders, because you were like the guy that's gonna come through the youth and just take everything by storm. And you know, how did that make you feel at the time? Because obviously you're just a player at the end of the day. So when everyone's putting all this pressure on you, how does that make you feel, and how did it affect like your game?
Well, at first, like I didn't even really feel it, to be honest. Like I was on the back of most newspapers, like the next big England star, blah blah blah. But when I was at Chelsea and playing under Carlo, I didn't really feel it. I started feeling towards when I was getting like the negativity. So my AVB come in, and then he brought like Ramirez, Morelos, and he said, "You would be around it, but I can't guarantee you'll be on the bench. I can't guarantee you'll come on." So I was like, I do want to be involved like week in, week out now. So my first loan move was to Swansea, and then the headlines suddenly changed from England's next star to going on loan, and then it was just a spiral kind of thing. Yeah. And that's when I really like dealing with, every time I walked out, I felt like massive pressure to score 30, 40-yard worldies. Do you know what I mean?
So what was the main difference for you, do you reckon, like going into men's football, like when you went out on loan? What was the biggest difference between loan, like not loan system, the under 21s, under 23s? Was it under 23s sometimes? It was just reserves, isn't it?
Nah, it's just reserve league, yeah.
Yeah, it was just reserves. So what would you say was the biggest difference between the reserves and then when you actually went out on loan and got men's football week in, week out?
Yeah, the reserve league wasn't actually too bad. Like now it's 23s and it is really young. But back in the day, reserves, you did get like 4 or 5 players who wasn't playing on the Saturday. They would play on the Monday. So obviously it wasn't that much of a difference, but you could still see that the difference obviously was there. Yeah.
Was it a thing where, because Chelsea have this thing with the loan system where a lot of players go out and they're known for just always putting their youth out. Was it a thing for you to, like, when you was thinking about it, did you think, you know what, I might not be able to make it here because Chelsea have a history of just sending players out alone and getting rid of them? Or did you actually feel like, you know what, I've actually got a big future here?
No, I felt from probably when I was like 17 till about 20, I thought, like I've got a big chance here. Obviously, I was making my debut, coming on most weeks, coming on in big games. Like I remember being 1-0 down at Man City, and I was like one of the first subs to come on. I was 17 years old, so Carlo had a lot of faith in me. But then probably after I was about 20, 21, and then I was still going out on loan, coming back. And I remember one year I was devastated because Chelsea done this thing. There was like 23s, first team, and like a loan group. And I went to walk into the first team change room. I didn't even know at the time. I went to walk into the first team change room just as normal. And they was like, "Oh, Josh, like, sorry, you're not in here. You're in the loan group." And I was just like, I think my time's up here.
Oh, wow.
So then that's what, like, wow, yeah, I need to look elsewhere, kind of thing.
No, that's so crazy. And how did that like make you feel?
Oh, like this big. That was probably one of the most embarrassing situations I've been in, because I walked in just as normal, and then to be told like, "No, you're not even in here. You're down the bottom corridor."
Oh wow. No, that's crazy. And you're obviously at Chelsea. Like, where were you born? You weren't born in London, though, innit? You was born in Oxford. But would you say you support Chelsea?
Yeah, I'm a Chelsea fan. I've been there since I was like 7, so from like 7 till 22. So I'm a fan,
Yeah, no, that's wild. And in regards to like your loan moves, would you say that Middlesbrough was probably where you enjoyed the most during your loan time?
Middlesbrough was probably where I played the most consecutive games.
Yeah, that's why I asked, because you made quite a lot of appearances for them.
Yeah, I think I made like 35, 40 appearances in the season. I was flying. Tony Mowbray, I love playing under him. He was similar, like calm, let me express myself. But I don't know if I enjoyed it out there as much. To be fair, I really enjoyed going over to Holland.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I went to Vitesse. I got injured pretty much straight away. They sent me back. Then I recovered. I think it was like 2-month injury. But then after the break, I was flying. I played a lot of games. Style of play, everything, I really enjoyed. So I would probably say.
Would you say that them times it was hard for young English players to go abroad and play, but obviously because of the whole link that Chelsea have with Vitesse, it was easy for you. But would you say it was a thing where people weren't really trying to go abroad when they were younger?
It was quite unusual. I couldn't name you 5 players at the time that was like English and abroad, to be honest. So it was unusual at the time, and it's changing obviously since Sancho's gone to Dortmund and done unbelievable. A lot of young players do want to take that path.
Yeah.
And my advice would be go and do it. Go and express yourself, because football out there is, especially for a player like me, I learned a lot, like technical, tactical aspects of the game. It was massive. So yeah, it did bring me on a lot.
What's the coaching like? Because Lam, you coach like kids a bit, and what would you say the biggest difference between coaching here and like coaching abroad is, and how did it help bring on your game? Like, do you want to speak on that, the difference between coaching? I'm asking you, Josh. Like Lammy's going to chime in on this topic, but I'm asking you, Josh, sir.
Sorry, say that again.
So basically, we're going to talk about the coaching aspect of things, because obviously Lamin coaches kids over here, innit? And he's going to chime in on this part. But for you, what's the difference between the coaching over here and the coaching abroad? Like, what's the thing that stands out the most?
What stands out the most? Probably the possession base. Like, everything was like short, sharp, passing, movement, high press. Everything was like, I'm not saying like championships are not, but foreign sides are a lot more like possession based. Like, our warm up, we wouldn't be. I'm not saying this is a bad thing, but like, we'd run up and down. Like, the first thing we do is get the ball and do rondo. Like, the difference is just like, they just love. They should have the ball. A lot of teams in the Championship are quite happy just to sit off and play on the counter attack. But where Holland, whether you're Ajax or you're at the bottom of the league, like, everyone just wants to play.
Lamin, why do you think they do that over here?
I don't know. I think what Josh has kind of mentioned is a difference in the philosophies. Do you know? Yeah, can you hear me? Sorry.
Yeah, go on.
Can you hear me? Yeah. I think what Josh is saying is talking about a difference in the philosophies, because I think a lot of the sort of the British-based teams play a very different tempo of football, whereas the teams over in Holland, like you were saying, like, a lot of it's possession-based. So obviously you need different mechanics to kind of, and a different mindset to kind of play that kind of game. And you need better all-round footballers as well. So I'm sure, Josh, when you was over there, you probably saw that there's a lot of technical players, sorts of different positions.
I think Lam's cutting out a bit. He's using that dial-up again, mate. He's that dial-up. But yeah, in all different positions.
He's right what he's saying though. But England are bringing that through. Like, in recent years, they're definitely getting better and better. But I remember playing against like Spain and those kind of countries were back in the day for England. And yeah, we did beat them on the odd occasion, but I was thinking like the difference between like the technicality aspects of everything, and it's just like they were miles ahead, but we are slowly getting there.
Have you noticed any differences in the coaching since you've been like playing men's football in Championship? Could you say we're slowly getting there, but do you mean more in the youth or even with the coaching now with the men's football, the senior football?
No, yeah, I think in senior football, people like there was a circle of managers like getting sacked, going to a different job, doing the same. There was like 10, 12 of them or whatever, but people are taking a different route now, and they do want like the younger manager who wants to get the ball down, who wants to play. So I think overall, I think the coaches from academies all the way up to the senior, everything in England is slowly changing.
It's so funny that you say that there's this circle of managers, because from outside looking in, you can see those managers, but how much of that do like registers with you in regards to the same managers get played, and the same managers get jobs, and the same players will always get a contract, like all the politics and everything behind it. How much of that do you actually see?
You see it all the time, like, and I was oblivious to it when I was younger, but obviously as you grow up, you see it a lot more. And I'm not saying like they're in the wrong or whatever, because some of them are really successful managers, and you've got to do what you got to do to win games and stuff. But I'm saying, like, for young English players back in the day, it was hard for them to jump, like, make that step, because that's not the kind of players they were. So you had to learn your trade elsewhere. But I think slowly they will be able to make that step more comfortably, because they're looking at that style of manager to come in.
Yeah, you spoke about Carlo Ancelotti. Apart from Carlo Ancelotti, who would you say is the best? Who would you say has been the best manager you've played under?
The best manager I played under, probably Dean Smith. I was with him for 2 or 3 seasons at Brentford, yeah. And the philosophy at Brentford is unbelievable, to be fair. What goes on there, what Matthew and that does behind the scenes is unbelievable. But yeah, Dean come in and he had just impact straight away, like his training, like how he wanted to do stuff. It was top notch.
Why did you decide to leave Brentford then? Because you were there for, was it 3-4 years? Yeah,
3-4 years. And in the press and stuff, it come out that I got released and that. But they did offer me a contract. They offered me a contract in January, a 3-year contract. But last January, sorry. And yeah, I just thought my time was up there. I just wanted a new challenge. So yeah, I just took that opportunity upon myself to have a new challenge.
Yeah. Why is it though? Like, it comes out like you're released and everything, and they offered you a new contract. But I've noticed with a lot of players, they just allow the media and press to just say stuff and just run with it. Like, why do you never feel the need to like come out and say your side of the story?
I don't know. I've always let things just go over my head, and it's probably wrong, but I think a lot of footballers are the same. Like quite laid back here, negativity around you all the time. So, and it is wrong. I am probably in the wrong. I should probably speak out more, and I think more players are speaking out. But little things like that, like I know I didn't get released. My family knows I didn't get released. Like,
yeah.
If they knew I didn't get released. So
yeah,
it was just a few articles. Like, I'm not gonna go around the papers ringing. No, I didn't.
Josh, let me ask you a question quickly, yeah? So obviously you kind of mentioned about like playing against Spain and playing against other countries and stuff, yeah? Obviously you're English, and obviously, you're proud to be English, and you're proud to like having started your career here, yeah? Do you reckon that maybe you, in terms of the kind of player you was, and obviously the stage that you came through, do you think you would have been more appreciated if you'd started overseas potentially? Maybe you started in a Spain or somewhere like that?
Excellent.
Yeah, a lot of people have said that, and no, I agree with them. If I did I think I would have thrived a lot more going into a first team like that. At when I was young and Carlo was the manager, he was the type of perfect for me, like the style of play he wanted to play. But then obviously the managers I haven't been their style or whatever. So
yeah.
I think I would have done a lot better if I would have started in Spain or Holland or Italy or just a more like technical, not as physical country. Definitely.
Was there an opportunity to stay in Holland then, or not? After the loan, maybe to go back or something like that.
Yeah. No, there was a couple of teams in Holland, but the style of play at Brentford suited me really well as well.
Sure. Yeah.
I did want to establish myself in England, so I was looking for a club in England that suited my style of play, and I thought Brentford was the perfect fit.
Would you say that it's not too late, but for you in your thinking and in terms of football, that the idea of going abroad isn't something that you would like visit right now? Because obviously you've got family and you got one on the way. Congrats as well. Congrats
I got one on the way, so it's going to be a bit mad soon. But no, I wouldn't. Honestly, I wouldn't say no to it now.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. My girlfriend said like if the time comes, like she's happy to go with me. So definitely, I'm 27 now, so I want to do what's best for me. I still think I've got 7-8 years left. Like I don't think it's too late.
Of course,
definitely.
No. 27, and players are entering their primes later because of the way sports sciences and fitness is. So, 27 is perfect age because you're mature now as a player. You know the game more. You know exactly what you can do and what you can't do. So, I personally think, because I'm a football man, I personally think that if you went abroad, obviously my opinion counts for nothing, but if you went abroad, you would absolutely smash it, because I feel like abroad plays into your playing style way more, and I think when you're coming up against teams who just want to press and just want to run no disrespect, you can run, but I believe your game, the strongest part of your game is.
I'm not going to take it personally, right?
Yeah. I believe you getting on the ball and making things happen.
Yeah.
Your game, but because it's not the game of England, do you know what I mean? And when I say England, I don't just mean the national team. I just mean English football in general. It doesn't allow your ability to shine like it should. So, short story.
No, I completely agree with you. So I would definitely not rule that out in the future. See what happens.
Okay, I've got a question that came in. There was a couple of questions. Looking back, what was missing or what could have gone better? As he was very tidy but didn't make enough impact on games. He broke into the first team at the time midfielders started requiring goals, if not lifting players up. So I think that person is basically trying to say, at the time when you broke through at Chelsea, midfielders were required to score a lot of goals and whatnot. And obviously you weren't scoring, but that's not your thing. So yeah, what could you have done?
No, I'll answer. I don't think goals isn't my game, but I can get where they're coming from, kind of. I think it was a mixture of things. I think if Carlo would have stayed, who knows what would have happened. I could have been still there now. I could still be playing for Chelsea's first team now.
Yeah.
So I don't think that happened with him getting sacked and AVB come in, bringing a lot more midfielders, and then I have to start the whole process again of being a young talent. And Chelsea are a club that needs to bring silverware in every single season. So it's tough for him to just chuck an 17, 18-year-old kid in. I do understand it that way. So I think the timing wasn't great, and I think my loan moves didn't work out as good as I wanted them to, and that's probably down to me.
Yeah, so those loan moves. Would you say that? Yeah, well, you just said it's down to you. But when you're picking loan moves, how much of an input do you actually have? like in regards to where you're going to go or what team and how long? How much of that is you, or is it all agents and all clubs and all of that?
You have a massive say. The ultimate decision is your decision, really. Later on, when I was struggling a lot more to get a loan move, I didn't have like a massive pick of teams, so then it gets harder. But no, it was definitely down to me and where I went. Especially my first 3 or 4 loan moves was down to me, and I hold my because it wasn't right.
Another one is loved you at Borough with Muzza as well. Proper baller. We had our own little Zavi. So Muzza Carrier. Yeah, he's an absolute baller as well from ends. Yeah. But what was it like playing with him actually? So I can get onto it.
Nah, you know what? He's the most laid back guy I know. Like he's such. I got on with him well. Like him, Ishmael Miller. I got on very well. But just to play with him, like if you was in trouble, you could just like hook it, and you know he's going to get onto it. He was rapid. Yeah, so he was easy to play with, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah. What made you pick Birmingham after Brentford?
I've spoke about it a little bit before, but I got promised that I was going to sign they're in the Premier League now, so I was waiting for that move to happen. And a lot of
who? Sorry,
Premier League.
Oh, Premier League. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that I was going to sign for them in the summer, and I was waiting, and I was turning down a lot of clubs in the Championship, a lot of clubs abroad, because obviously I want to get back to the Premier League. And the longer it was going on, I was like, imagine if it's like, what's going to happen? And in the end, the deal completely fell through. Like it didn't happen, and it was like this was 2 weeks into the season, transfer window had finished, but because I was on a free, I could still sign.
Yeah.
So then I was like, what am I going to do? And then Harley D, my old skipper at Brentford, is the captain now at Birmingham. He messaged me. He was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Mate, honestly, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do." And he was like, "Come down here and train." I was like, "Oh yeah, buzzing." Like, I've been doing a bit, but it's completely different. Train on your own and going to train. So it was like a trial kind of thing. Like I went down there. They wanted to look at me. I had to look around, etc. And I thought it was a good move. Before I got injured, it's been good. Like Pep Clotet wants to get the ball down. Plays a Spanish coach. He's brought more players in to play his style of football. So it's good. I'm enjoying it. So I've got this season another season left. And no, the lads are good. The fans are unreal. It's good.
You know, you spoke about training on your own and everything. When you did come into the side, because you're coming in on a free and that without a team and everything. Obviously, people don't know the backstory behind why you're actually a free. Because, you know, like you just said, you had a move promised or not promised, but whatever. Like, do people kind of look at you like, he's on a free, he ain't got a club, so there must be something wrong or he ain't good enough? Like, do you actually have to go out and just prove yourself all over again?
Of course. Like that's the first time I've been in that situation. Like, 26 years old and I'm going like on trial. I was like, what has it come to kind of thing? I'm thinking, wow. Like it was quite embarrassing in a way, if I can say that. It was. And then to get up to fitness, I'm back playing with Birmingham 23s. So I'm 26 playing in Birmingham under 23s. It was just a bit mad, but obviously, like I'm in that situation for a reason, and only I can take control of that. It's me. I'm back on track now. Like obviously, I've got injured, but before I was playing most weeks, enjoying it again. So I just need to get back strong and then take it from there.
You know what? It's so funny because people don't really talk about that, like being out of contract and you know, what you're going to do, looking left and looking right. And you obviously had a family. So what was that like for you, like in that time, not knowing where your next move is going to come?
Horrible. Like just on the phone to my agent at the time, just like, what's going to happen? Like, and he's like, I don't know. Like, nothing's really happening at the moment. I'm like, just panicking. I'm panicking. Like, for my future, I didn't know what was going on. I got a family to provide for it, as you said. So it's nerve-wracking times. But yeah, luckily all things fell into place, and I'm set up in Birmingham now.
How much of that makes you think about, like, obviously you're very young now, so I don't expect you to like be thinking about retirement and all of that. But football is, you know, really and truly in the grand scheme of life, a very short career. So how much of that makes you think about, you know, setting yourself up outside of football?
Yeah, no, massively. And I don't think we get that much help when we're younger in that department with our money, because a lot of money is thrown at you at a young age, especially at the top teams. And you go from nothing to a lot in a short amount of time. It can just go like that. So I think it definitely, I think things definitely do need to change in that aspect of things, with like financial advisors and things like that, just to help you out. Because you said it's quick, it goes quick. And I obviously, when I'm 21, I don't think about retirement, but I'm 27 now, and I do want to set myself up. So I will be taking my coaching back. When I was 21, I was like, that's miles away, but it creeps up on you so quickly. So I will be taking my coaching badges and stuff. And yeah, you just look at things. It's only five years ago, but you just look at things in a completely different way.
I was just going to ask, do you think you would have been ready though? Like, because obviously, with a lot of things, people do things when they're ready to do them. Do you know what I mean? Would you have, if you were talking to your 21-year-old self now, you'd obviously be saying that. But knowing your 21-year-old self, would you have taken on the advice if there was something there?
Yeah, exactly. Like, probably not. No. That's what I mean. It's tough. Like, yeah, I wouldn't now. Like, my little brother's 19. He's just gone on loan to Holland and stuff. And because I've been through it all, I don't want him to make the same mistakes as I made. So he's lucky in that way, that he's got me, that I've been through it all, didn't do things in the right way, led to things, blah, blah, blah. I could go on, but so yeah, he's lucky. But not everyone has got that older brother that's been through things.
Yeah.
But no, your question, I probably wouldn't.
He's not bad player either.
No, he's all right, to be fair. Runs around a bit more than me. Oh.
Do you think you can, because you just mentioned that he runs around a bit more than you. Do you think that you could be that player that can get on the ball and make things happen, and still be that player that runs around all the time? Or do you think one has to suffer? No,
you can, but like, if you look at my stats, like after a game, you would probably be like, wow, he's actually running that much. Because I've got such like laid back like way about me, it doesn't look like I'm working hard. So fans like perceive me as quite lazy, when really, if you look at always after a game, we're always in like the top 2, top 3 for running stats. So
yeah. Would you go on? No,
go on.
Would you say that's something that people have kind of not labelled you as, but said about you when you look at like the negative stuff that gets thrown at you? Would it be that you could come across as a bit lazy?
Yeah, definitely. Like, a lot of managers have said like they've cancelled me out because they're saying like he hasn't got the legs and stuff like that. But that's just I'm not gonna be like Jordan Henderson or whatever, who running non-stop for 90 minutes. Like, that's not me.
Yeah. I think that's what people want to see. I said to someone the other day, I can't remember who, that it's like they measure how successful you are on a pitch by how much you're running around.
Well, how much running they see. Not even how much running you do, it's how much running they see you to do.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what? Some fans, right? It confuses me, but some fans would rather you run, sprint, absolutely smash someone, and like, it will be their throw. It will be the opposition's throw, rather than just get yourself in the right position, nick the ball and play a pass. Do you know, like, that get them up more than you. Does that make sense?
Yeah. The reason why I'm laughing is because I know that. Do you know what I mean? It's wild. Like, they want, like you said, you could be in a good position, nick the ball, do a little pass, you've kept possession, your team keep moving, everything is good. But they would much rather see you run, sprint 30 yards and clear someone out, give away a throw, give away a free kick or whatever, and they're like, yeah, that's what we want to see.
Yeah, that's our player. Yeah.
You know what it is? It's the action-packed way that English football is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
the action all the time.
Yeah, they just love it. And that's not me. I'm not going to be running around smashing people. It's just not me.
It makes you laugh.
I've tried to get into my game, but not happening.
Quick one on who would you say is your is the best player you've played with?
What, like just been on the pitch with, or like had a good season with, or what?
Okay, yeah. Let's do been on the pitch with.
Been on the pitch with.
You've been on the pitch with a good couple players, mate.
Just a few.
just for absolutely everything, like the way he handles himself off the pitch, training every single day, what he does on the pitch for a midfielder, how many goals he gets, and just to be in his company. You probably know who I'm going to say.
Yeah.
It was Frank Lampard. He was just like the ultimate professional, like with everything he does. Like, I used to go over to train with him when I started going over when I was like 15. And if he felt like he was like one of England's best midfielders, like he didn't really have anything to prove, like, do you know what I mean? Like, it would just, and he was like, if he didn't feel like he hit the standards in training or whatever, you just see him doing doggies after. And then I was just like in awe of him, really. Like, he was unbelievable. So for everything, I'd say Frank Lampard.
Did that make you
talent-wise though? I'd say Ravel Morrison.
Oh,
yeah, he was different level.
Yeah. What club was that at? Was that Middlesbrough?
No, I haven't played with him at club level, just international level, England and stuff.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I can't remember, but he's there now. Yeah. But yeah, what was he like? Because this is another thing about Ravel, is that Ravel gets a lot of press recently, especially because people are like, oh, he's the biggest disappointment and whatnot. And I don't like that. And I don't like that because, like, things maybe didn't go the way it might have gone for other people. But for me, he's still young. He's still 26, 27.
Yeah, 93, same age as me.
Yeah, and he's an absolute baller. And I think when you get the right managers, it's like what you were saying when you went to Holland and with Ancelotti. When you get the right managers, you play better football. And for me, I think as well that he's another one that would probably thrive abroad as well, because because he's got all the attributes needed to do that. But yeah, speak on it. What was he like?
If he gets the right manager, the right fit, I think it has clicked with him now, because we're all young, we're all immature. Like we did all need to grow up, and we all made mistakes, whatever. But I think if it's not too late, but if he does find that fit, then he can still be like whatever he wants, because like you just used to see him. If you couldn't get near him in training, like I used to play against United like youth team and stuff, and Pogba and that were in the team, but he was miles ahead of anyone. Like he was just.
Yeah, no, that's what everyone says about him. And I've seen a couple games when he was younger. I remember watching some of those games when I was younger, but I never saw too much of him when he was younger. But everyone just always says he's just unreal. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's not. I hope he does. I know he's at Sheffield United now, but he's not really getting the game time or whatever. So I hope he does. Maybe the option is he has been abroad before. Maybe it is to go abroad, manager, and it works because he deserves it.
he did well abroad as well. So I know they got, because they tried to put out that, you know, they're getting rid of him and whatever, but then the club actually came out and said, no, he actually did really well for us and everything. So yeah, definitely. But I think it's more of that whole, like, of your reputation following you. And,
it's hard with English media now. Like once you get that name for yourself, it's difficult to come out of that. Like, I'm still known as just like Chelsea flop.
They don't call you Chelsea flop, surely.
It's difficult to get just to brush that off your shoulder because the media just are on you. And for Ravel now, he needs to do a lot for that reputation to change, and he is capable of doing it. But they do get on you a lot, the English media, and I think it's wrong.
What does that do for you though? Like, if you do hear, because I don't really hear. Go on.
No, go on. I was just going to ask, what's the impact of that though? Because obviously, like, what? Obviously, you're a player. You're in the game. You're trying to do your best to obviously be the best player you can. What does that do for you, like psychologically, and like as a player, young, middle, old, whatever? How does it affect you?
Of course, it affects you. Like, no one likes reading like negativity around you. It's embarrassing. Like, you feel you let yourself down, you let your family down. Like, it's horrible. And I only got it like a little bit. I still get it like every now and again now. But I'm thinking like the top players who are doing it week in, week out, and the press are still like trying to like bring them down. I'm looking abroad and like they're just bigging their players up all the time.
Yeah, it's different.
I don't know what it is. Like, they'd rather write a negative headline than a positive one. Yeah, it's not right.
Yeah, and that's like a running thing that when I do speak to players, the one thing that really rubs them up the wrong way is media. Do you know what I mean? And it's sad, but you guys have just literally just had to just take it as part of the game, and it shouldn't be part of the game, but it is part of the game because at the end of the day, you're playing at Birmingham. If you ask a lot of people, you know, if they want to play championship level football and play, you know, in the Prem or whatever, they bite your hand off. Yeah. But for you to actually be playing at Birmingham and still be known as Chelsea flop, it's actually really disrespectful, especially when the people writing these headlines and stuff like that have probably never kicked a ball in their life.
Oh, 1,000,000%, never.
You know what I mean? It's just so crazy. But who else we got to talk about? Melis, add him on my pod. What's Melis like? Little live wire.
No, Melis, I still speak to Melis a lot now. Like he's one of my good friends, and honestly, he's another one. Like his ability was unbelievable. Like he come from us when he was to Chelsea when he was like 15 or 16 or something from Sheffield United. And like the first times I was training, I was just like, I'm 2 or 3 years younger. I was just like, wow, this guy is going to be like, he's similar to Lampard in like arriving in the box, scoring goals. And I was like, he's going to be, he's an absolute joke. And for whatever reason, things led to another, and he's now playing at he's at Bolton, isn't he? At the moment?
Yeah, he's at Bolton now. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's another one. Like he could get his career back on track like that, but he's got that reputation, as you said before, and it's hard to get rid of it.
Yeah. I'm gonna, in my head, I feel like I know who you're going to say, but I'm gonna ask you who the most talented player was when he was at Chelsea.
Well, what name have you got in your head?
I've got Kakuta in my head.
Oh yeah, nah, yeah, him or Hazard, but Kakuta was that good.
Oh yeah, like, Hazard.
Kakuta was that good. Like, it's mad the youngsters Chelsea actually had, like the talent they had. Yeah. Even the likes of Patrick Van Aanholt, Jeffrey Brumer, and players like that. It was scary. But yeah, I played with Gayle a lot of times, So I would probably say Gale.
Yeah. What was it about him though that made him so good?
Like he could just win games on his own, and there's only a few amount of players that can like just switch it on. Do you know, like he did take the mick in training as well, but like, do you know, like not be bothered in training, but you know, on a Saturday he'll just be able to do something and win the game on his own.
Yeah.
Like Hazard's got it as well, like Neymar, like those special players. But Gale is one of them that can just switch it on and switch it off when he wanted.
I think that's my criticism of Hazard, funny enough. That he just, I don't know, because I get a lot of stick on this podcast because I don't put Hazard up there like with the Messis and Ronaldos and the Neymars, and I think he's tier below, but just not there because I feel like for like 10 minutes of the game he'll be unbelievable, but then you know he'll fizzle out for the rest of it. But then I'm starting to realize that if you're that good, you know, you might just need that 10 minutes in a game to just yeah. So I don't know, but I'll trust you.
We'll see what I know what you mean. Like I do agree with what you're saying. Like there's probably like obviously Messi and Ronaldo in their league, and then like the Neymars, De Bruyne's, that kind of Hazards. But Hazard, he goes through phases, doesn't he? But I'm interested to see what he's going to do at Real Madrid this year, because if he wanted to, he could win the Ballon d'Or. Like if he really wanted it, he could do it. Yeah, he's that.
You know what? I'll take your word for it because you've played with him. But you mentioned the fact, you mentioned KDB. Who would? Because for me, he'd be top two, or top three if I was deciding player of the year. But when you look at the Premier League and everything, who would you put as the outstanding player of the season?
I think he's probably in the top two, KDB, but I'll probably have to put Jordan Henderson in there as well.
No!
Yeah.
Why? Why?
Just because the amount of pressure he's had on his shoulder from taking over Gerrard and what he's done with the team, like the fans hammering him, and how he's changed that all of a sudden into he's known as a world-class player now. Like whether you like it or not, I think he is labelled a world-class player, and he's changed that all on his own. So I've got so much respect.
Yeah, I've said that. I'm not sure about being up there in the world, but I've said to Daps, he needs to put more respect on his name, man.
Yeah, no, a bit more I respect him, but I think he's a ridiculously hard worker. I think he's a great leader. I never always thought that, but the more I look at him and the more I see his influence on the team, I do definitely believe that he's a great leader. Is that enough to be like, the best player? I don't think so, because I think
I know where you're coming from. You're probably like a ball player like me. Like you love watching the De Bruynes, the Hazards, the Messis, etc. But I need to like look away from that and look what he's actually done and achieved in the game, because he's obviously unbelievable, but like naturally he's not, and he's worked and worked, and I've got a lot of time.
Yeah, like one of our other co-hosts who's not here, Spence. Spence is the one that made me see, because Spence manages now at Waltham Abbey, and shout out Waltham Abbey every time, and he was saying that he didn't really rate Henderson until he became a manager, because he was saying that you need those sorts of players in your team. You need those sorts of players in your team, and he realizes that, not everyone in your team can be that worldy or whatever. But if you've got someone that, manages to set the tempo and manages to keep everyone, pumped up, then that's invaluable. And I respect that, but I still think in his team, Mane should probably get the award ahead of him. But, that's me.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the whole package. I know, like in training, if training's not right, I know Jordan's gonna dig someone out and make it right. Do you know what I mean? So then they go into the game. Like, it's all the things off the pitch I'm looking at as well. Like, just the whole thing. Same with Jordan as well. England under 21s, and I didn't think he was going to be what he's become. Like, that's God's honest truth. I didn't, and so I just need to take a step back and look what he's done, and it's unbelievable.
Yeah, no, you have to respect it, and the listeners of this will actually come and say that I haven't in the past respected Jordan Henderson, but I have to actually say his influence on the team is crazy. But Chelsea, you're a Chelsea man as well. So how are you viewing their season this year?
I'm happy with how it's going there. I don't think it was ever going to go this way. I think if they didn't get Frank, then the youth system would have still been the same. Like, loads, they wouldn't have got their chance. So the amount of work Neil Bath, the academy managers, put in, and wasn't getting anything back. Like, I felt so sorry for him.
Yeah.
But now I'm buzzing. I didn't think there was going to. I thought there was going to be like 7th, 8th. Like, this would be like the season, like a test season kind of thing. I think I'm happy. I'm happy with how it's going, the way they're playing, the results they're getting from the way they're playing. So I'm happy.
Yeah. No. I do like the way that Frank Lampard has gone about his business. Like you said, if they didn't get him, it probably would have changed. But then again, they couldn't get any players in last year, innit? So their hand was probably forced.
But I think he has just implemented it, that he wanted to do that. He stuck by his word. I think he wasn't under a lot of pressure when he first went in. So it's just helped out everyone.
So, hot take from you. Would you, as a Chelsea man, keep Willian?
Yeah.
You have to.
Huh?
You have to.
Yeah.
You have to keep Willian.
He's special as well. Like, he could, like, he's done it a few times this season. Like, his goal at Tottenham and that, he can just pull something out of the bag whenever. So, I would 100%. We've got Ziyech and stuff coming as well, and he's unbelievable. I would still keep Hazard. Not Hazard. Willian.
Yeah, well, you'd probably take Hazard back too as well, mate. You'd probably take.
Oh yeah. Let me even think about.
But what would you say? How would you say your like Birmingham as a whole? Oh, I think we've lost him. Have we lost him?
My battery's gonna go. One sec.
Oh, yeah, technicals and all of that. Here he is. Yeah.
So what was you saying?
Yeah, no. How would you say Birmingham's City's going? I mean, Birmingham's season's going, sorry, not City.
Yeah, it was, we went through a stage around November, December, where we didn't win for like 12, 13 games. And that killed us really, because recently we've picked up massively. And I think if we even won a few of those games, we would have been in and around the playoffs. And that's what we want to do. Birmingham's a big club.
Yeah.
We want to get back to the Premier League. So it's been just a bit hit and miss really. Like the season now, but we can't go down. So
yeah, it's so crazy looking at that championship table. I'm looking at it now, and you're only, well, I say only, but what's that? 9 points off playoffs.
Yeah,
and obviously there's a lot of teams in between you and the playoffs, but the championship.
Well, so we could go up, but it would be very hard for us.
Yeah. But I was just looking at just how competitive that is. That is super tight.
Yeah.
It always is. Championship, I think, the toughest league in the world, to be fair. It always is. And I think it's getting better and better with the teams in it. I think the bottom 10 teams in Prem and the top 10 teams in the Champ, like there's not much difference whatsoever.
Yeah,
interchangeable. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that is absolutely nuts. And it just makes you look back at when you were saying you went through that period where you couldn't win a game, and how different would it have been if
It's all ifs and buts, isn't it? Like now saying like if we didn't lose, but yeah, it is what it is. That's the Championship. Like you could go Leeds away, get a result, and play someone like at the bottom of the league the next week and lose. Like you just never know.
Yeah. Okay, cool. But before we start rounding this up, I've got one more for you. Noobs. Niz, what's he like? This Joker. Huh?
I said he's a character. He's top man as well. As I said before, we've got a group chat where we do quizzes like every Wednesday or whatever. Yeah, Frank loves it, and to play with him, it was a pleasure to play with him. He's another top talent. Hopefully he finds a club soon. He's not at Colchester anymore, is he? Yeah. But I'm sure there'll be a lot of clubs after him on a free, so he won't struggle to find a club. But no, I've got a lot of time for Frank. Yeah.
What's your whole take on Championship? Like, do you know if it's going to be resumed yet or anything? Like, what are you hearing about that?
Yeah, no, I think it's going to go ahead. I think we're just following the Premier League really, but I think it will go ahead. I think the German league this weekend was like this kind of thing. Obviously, watching it was completely different. It was strange, but I think they're desperate. The Premier League, the Championship, they're absolutely desperate to finish it. And like if you was Liverpool cancelled it, how disappointed would you be? But then you got to look at it the other way, like this is a serious case, and you just need to get it right, don't you? Yeah, I definitely hear that, man. But
I've had a question come through quickly. Yeah, I've had a question come through for you, Josh. Yeah. So Birmingham City wonder kid, Jude Bellingham. Yeah. People keep asking me loads of questions about this kid. I mean, obviously you've seen him in the flesh and that. Obviously he's touted, got a lot of stuff going on in the press at the moment. But the question is that how good is he? And do you think he can make that transition to a big Premier League team? Obviously he's only young, he's only 16 or something.
Yeah, he's 16, but I don't even need to think about it. The kid is unbelievable. Like he's 16 years old, and I'd say he's the best in training day in, day out.
Oh, serious?
He's ridiculous. He's talented, but he's got everything else as well. Like he can run, he can.
Josh, you're freezing up.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, I said he is talented, but he can run, he can head, he can score, he can tackle. Like he can do everything. So I don't think it would faze him to take that step. Yeah.
He's the best in training, though.
Yeah, he's the best in training. I personally, like everyone has their opinion, but I'd say personally, he's the best in training every day.
Oh wow! No, that's crazy. I think they're gonna love that on the internet, mate. All the United fans. Yeah, but
yeah.
If he goes United, I don't know. I heard Dortmund wanted him as well, innit? So I don't know, but we'll see how that goes.
I think everyone in Europe wanted him to be fair. I heard Chelsea were linked with him. All the top teams, Bayern Munich were linked with him. All the top teams, but for a 16-year-old, he's got his head screwed on. Comes from a good family, so I'm sure he'll make the right. Yeah. I'd love him to stay at Birmingham, to be fair, because it is a pleasure to play with. But we'll see what.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Josh, man. I hope you've had fun. You know,
no worries.
We finally got it over the line, and this is one that I really wanted to get done. So when I found out that it could happen, I was over the moon, because I personally, as a football man, I think you're a massive player, and I think you're definitely underappreciated here in this country, and I do really, really hope that we can go on and get to see the best of you, because you're an absolute baller. And, you know, all the best getting back from the injury. And, you know, congrats again on...
So hopefully I will, but I do appreciate what you're saying.
Yeah, man. No. And this is just from one fan of football and someone that's played to another person, because you're an absolute baller. So, and I think, you know, Chelsea took liberties in it, but that's just me. You ain't got to say that, but I think Chelsea took liberties. But anyway,
I've got to be careful what I say in here.
Yeah. So, no.
You've had headlines, so I need to be careful.
Say that again?
I said I need to be careful because a lot of interviews you've had, they have made the headlines.
Yeah. So, in terms of headlines, Josh McEachran loves Chelsea, and he wishes them all the best. So, you know, let's just put that out. But
so of course,
yeah. All right, cool. But yeah, guys, keep liking, subscribing, sharing, and we'll be back as always next week. Just let us know what you think, and no doubt you're gonna love this one. And yeah, we'll see you guys later.
Big up, Josh. Take it easy.
Thank you very much. Take care.